Hi, in this video, we're going to take a look at DHCPv4 Relay. So what is DHCPv4 Relay? Well, many times in our enterprise networks, where our DHCPv4 server is different than where our clients may reside. And we don't necessarily want to have a DHCP server on every one of our networks. So we want to centralize, in this case, the DHCP server operations. Okay, so in our more simplistic scenario here, we have a device looking for a DHCPv4 server, which doesn't reside on this network, but we do have one over on, whoops, went too fast, over on this other network. And typically, remember the DHCP request message and the DHCP discover message and the DHCP request messages coming from the clients are sent as broadcasts. Routers don't forward broadcasts, so how does this DHCP server get the message? Let's take a look, because without, it doesn't get the information automatically, then it's usually going to be a quad 0 or more likely give itself the 169 address. Okay, so what we do is on the router, we use a command known as the IP helper address. What this is going to do is forward any broadcasts looking for any of these services, including DHCP. So any broadcasts using these UDP port numbers, it's going to convert those broadcasts, Ethernet broadcasts, to unicasts. Let's take a look. Okay. So what we do is on interface fast Ethernet 00, okay, we just say IP helper address 192.168.11.5. So that means when this device here sends a DHCP discover message, which is a broadcast, the router is going to receive that on the fast Ethernet 00 interface, and it's going to convert it to a unicast for the 192.168.11.5. Okay. And then it will also relay those messages coming back, so it will act as a client. It will, as far as the server is concerned, it will think R1 is the client, but R1 is just acting as a relay between the two. Okay. So the offer message will come back from the server, go and be relayed by R1 back to PC1. PC1 has no idea that this server is on another network. Okay. Sends back the request saying, yes, I would like that. R1, again, turns that into a unicast. Back and sends it to the server. The server sends the acknowledgement coming back and will act as the relay and send that back to PC1. Okay, so it's exactly what it says. It's a relay. Okay. And then we can just see, yep, it actually works. So this is quite common in most networks. Okay. So there is another option where you can actually, you can either do IP helper addresses as unicasts, or you can do it as what's known as a directed broadcast. So the directed broadcast can be used when you might have a lot of the services that are typical, that you might be doing NetBIOS, if you're still using NetBIOS, but DHCP, if you're using TFTP, if you're using any of those services, excuse me, that we saw in the IP helper address. If you're using a lot of those and you have kind of a server farm out by itself, instead of configuring a lot of different unicast addresses, you can just configure it as a directed broadcast. So it will send it, come in as a broadcast, let's say, and it will send it out as a directed broadcast. And what that means, it's specifically for this network and saying, hey, anybody out here, one of these devices, like the DHCP server, when it's doing the DHCP discover. I typically like to just use unicasts. I don't, minimize broadcasts as much as you can, but if there's a need for it, it definitely, the there's a way to do it. Okay, all right. So that is DHCP v4 Relay.